The Dank Meme Master Marie is hitting the beach, and this time she is a 4-star caster. When it comes to attack, she is right up at the top next to Nito with 9,060 attack. Her HP, however, coming in at 11,404, ties her for second to last place. She is rocking the typical caster deck of 1 quick, 3 arts, and 1 buster, 3 hits on those quick cards, an insane 5 hits on her arts cards, 1 hit on her buster, and 4 on that extra attack. An NP gain of 0.32% is the standard for casters with 5 hits on their arts cards. Yep, all of them. This is only ever passed up by caster Nero, who has 6 hits on her arts card with a gain of 0.4%. However, Nero caster only has 2 arts cards. While this might seem like a lot of hits and you would expect a good amount of NP gain, it's actually just alright. An optimal Brave chain for NP is obviously going to be an Arts chain. Arts brings you 52.2% NP gauge. However, if you're not lucky enough to pull that, the NP gain of the second closest Arts Quick Arts is only about 24% and is fairly typical for most casters running the same deck. For stars, while you are not going to be generating much, an Arts Quick is going to be your best bet, as it will give you around 22% NP and 4 to 9 stars. While you are not going to be typically using Marie to bring home the damage, a Buster Arts is going to be your go-to chain. Marie's skill set is a good mix of team offensive support along with self-preservation. Her first skill, Beachflower A+, is a skill that you should be familiar with, as many of the summer servants share this skill. This is a charisma duct tape to a male only critical star drop buff that hits the whole team for 3 turns. 9.5% attack and 21 crit star drop rate at rank 1, maxing out at 19.5 attack and 41% drop rate at rank 10. Much like the others, this is also on a 7-turn cooldown, meaning at rank 10, you can have this up the vast majority of the time. Her second skill, Radiant Sunflower A, is a pretty nice skill. For 3 turns, you are going to be gaining flat crit stars per turn, as well as restore HP per turn. 5 stars and 500 hit points at rank 1, going up to 10 stars and 1,000 hit points at rank 10. One of the downsides is that this does have a 9-turn cooldown, dropping to 7 at rank 10. Other servants who have similar skills are often on a 7 or 8-turn cooldown, meaning that you will need to know when to utilize this skill. Finishing it up, well, Marie would not be Marie without Beautiful Princess A. This provides her with invulnerability to 3 hits, as well as a substantial debuff resist, 30 to 50% for 3 turns. Coupling her second and third skills, this provides Marie with the greatest survivability of all the current casters released. Now, for passives, you do have Territory Creation A, which will provide the 10% boost to those arts cards, which is fantastic, seeing as she has 3 of them, and an arts NP. Item Construction D is, well, 4% increase in debuff success rate. It's something, I guess. But let's see what's under that crystal dress. That's her Noble Phantasm. Get your head out of the gutters. Crystal Dress, Loving Radiance for All Eternity, is an arts-based Noble Phantasm that deals damage to all enemies. Decrease the crit of said enemies. So I guess Item Construction D can kind of come in to help with this, and increase the critical strength of all allies on overcharge, which is actually the important part of this. Number wise, you are looking at 450 to 750% damage, ranging from NP1 to NP5. A flat 20% decrease to critical rate. However, the overcharge is a 20 to 40% increase to crit strength for all allies, going from overcharge 1 through overcharge 5. Now, she's not going to be dishing out the flex tape levels of damage with this, but this will be a good way to prep for a crit fest second turn, seeing as she can provide stars, and if followed up with any sort of star engine, you will have 20% more critical damage for whoever picks up those stars, and that's minimum. So, for Ascensions, you are looking at 8 seeds, 8 shells, 11 plumes, and 4 scarabs. This is not too bad at all. It's actually very reasonable, in fact. For skills, though, this does kind of suck. 12 shells, 15 seeds, 16 snake jewels, and 20 gears per skill. Granted, there are worse out there, but this is still pretty bad. Thankfully, you can basically ignore her third skill and level it up later for the cooldown reduction. Her first skill will take priority, followed by her second skill. Now, let's get into the craft essences. When it comes to CEs, you are going to want to focus on support. Be that via NP gain like Prisma Cosmos, NP generation like Divine Banquet, or flat arts up like Formal Craft. But Fragments of 2030 is going to be your best bet. This is going to synergize with her niche as an arts crit team supporter. Sure, her second skill can net you stars, and her first skill allows a male star generator to generate more stars, but who doesn't like even more stars? Speaking of teammates, however, Marie fits well in a crit arts team, so running her with Saber Lancelot or Li Xuan is a very fantastic setup. Pair her with the two Shikis for a ladies' night out, or just go ham by teaming her up with a Hans and an Archer Chloe. Emiya Assassin is also a very good star generator to stick with her. So overall, unlike Marie's Rider variant, this one does provide fairly decent team support. She comes with not only an attack buff, but critical damage and star generation. She does do more damage than her Rider variant as well. Granted, she's not going to be hitting like a truck, but she won't be hitting like a wet noodle. So she does both of these two roles better than her Rider variant, but still maintains that survivability. Unfortunately, while Marie's kit is very focused, it isn't that amazing. It's basically a budget support loadout on a limited 4-star servant. While she has great survivability, she doesn't share any of that with the rest of her team, so she's very greedy in that aspect. Her main star generation skill has a 9-turn cooldown, which is pretty brutal. So out of all of the limited servants, Marie is definitely the weakest. But if you do get this bikini-clad Dank Meme Master, she isn't horrible, she's just very underwhelming. So I'm really on the fence on whether or not to level her up. If you do have a Li Xuan or a Saber Lancelot, you want to run the Arts Crit team. She's definitely okay for that. Outside of that niche, though, she's very, very lackluster, and I would not suggest investing a lot of time or resources in her unless she is your waifu. So anyways, guys, I would like to thank all of the Patreons who help support this channel. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to join them, there is a link down in the description. Come there. I put out my scripts. I do polls on what you'd like to see next. We also do private Patreon work streams where you can hang out with me while I'm working on videos. But if you would like to support the channel, you can do that by just hitting that subscribe button, smashing that bell notification, dropping me a like and a comment, and I will catch you on the next one. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
Just run away with my darling. We'll get